pressure bust pipes, or creates VVS cut ice up nice, we pump pipes to relieve the stress. Spark life, we went from thug life to screaming we the best before calling every girl a bitch. To pearl a bitch, choose retorts, left the world a dish. Food for thought, leave a tip for the leadership. Avoid the GMO, eat what you grow, reap what you sow. Weave the rest, Rapunzel, thread and needle, golden on. Holding arms as long as Matumbo, longer stretch. Then runs a Colombo, older uncles in the golden dawn, nephews in the vestibules, holding arms, throwing bombs at the head of fiends. Role model Pablo and Medellin, the people that you let deceive you is the closest ones. The nephews, the uncles, they the first ones to rush and run through. Whose house the tools out, forcing you to crack the safe and take them jewels out. Crack the fridge and take some food out. Family sits at the dinner table. Shit, the same family kills. Like Cain and Abel, more horrors than Amityville. The haters in the game can turn fatal. You can change the name, but never change the label. Once you've been labeled as able to carry out your hateful spew, and I fail to bring it straight to you. The joke's on me, April Fools. You can take the tool to fake my cool shit. Who wanna lay in pools? That's why I keep the heater on me. All your social traits show you sweet and corny. Succotash, cut the grass, don't go that way. It's where them cobras lay. The coldest stain was overlaid by a poker face. I got my joker on. Jared Leto, open case. Bevno Siegel's cold race. Golden off to close the case. Midas touching like discussions over nice production. These pipes be busting. Desert eagles in these golden homes. BVS, I'm just angel of light. You know what angle of light? A stranger in the night, entangled in a fight. The strangling of life, the changing of the gods, the rearranging of the cards. Doctor Strange in them foreign cars. We was icons before they started shooting them Nikons. We had the cannon and the marker cannon. 3.5s in the 70s, knee high in the 70s. Now it's ebony's in every prism. Deadly missions like Debbie Fisher. Every scripture, heavy mixture, cherry elixir at every bar mitzvah. Moving hands, niggas use the gram just for moving grams. Playing losing hands, niggas losing band. We in a music band, and they wanna stroke my ego, invoke my emos. Man, I spoke to people with that coke with ego. Yeah, the dope is lethal. My commentary is like commissary for these broken people. Food for thought, I'm on my shmoney grind. Bentley truck, same color as the honey wine. The Oregon rising, the price of your organs rising. If niggas ain't talking about organizing, it's no communication, poor Verizon.
Alright, there you have it, family. That right there is VVS off of the Twin album. Go to any of your streaming platforms and put Twin, the album, in your search bar, and you'll be able to get that. Alright? So, peace to the family, peace to you and yours. Welcome to another episode of Th3rd Thursdays. This is episode number 29. Alright? Let's get this roll call going before we do anything. Let's see who's in the building. All right, we got Oakland in the building. Shout out to Oakland. We got Colorado in the building, Chicago in the building, DC in the building, ATL in the building, Rochester, New York, Denver in the building, Bermuda's in the building, B-Moore's in the building, H-Town is in the building, Delaware's in the building, North Kakalaka's in the building, Chicago's in the building, Long Island, all right, Gathersburg, Maryland, the D is in the building, Detroit, East Palo Alto, Cali is in the building, Sacktown is in the building, West Side, Massachusetts is in the building, San Antonio's in the building, from BK to Dayton, West Phoenix is in the building. Salute to you. You already. Shout out to all of the family that's in the building. Thank you for coming through. Welcome. The 912 is in the building. You done know. So yes, welcome on this Thursday. Peace to everybody. Uh, Hope everybody is here in great health, mental health, spiritual health, physical health, financial health, and you're getting ready for your week to end, so you could plan a powerful weekend. This last weekend of July, a month that basically I don't even know where it went. It just came and it's gone. So y'all know how that summer is. Summer's, um, especially in New York, because we have 4 seasons. Summer is a fleeting dream. If you don't hold on to it, it could basically slip right by you. Okay. Word. It was just the 4th of July. That's my word. Like, I just remember being at Commodore Park at the festival for the 4th of July weekend. Now we on the heels of the end of this month, and I'm like, what the hell? Shit. I got things to do. You know what I'm saying? So I'm playing catch up. But anyway, what's good with the family? Guam is in the building. Shout out to Guam. I've never been to Guam. I would love to go to Guam one of these days and just eat whatever food is indigenous to Guam. You know what I'm saying? I haven't, I just have this inkling that there's gonna be some banging ass food coming out of Guam. So maybe one of these days. Did I see the Sway interview? Yeah, I saw the Sway interview with Dr. Sabi's grandson and one of his daughters. It was a good interview. hmm Good interview. Oh, you just copped that shirt? No, no doubt. The shirt is very everywhere I go, people like the shirt. The shirt is a crowd stopper and whatnot. Let's go through a few what's that? Announcements before we get into the show tonight. First and foremost, if you are in the New York area, if you're in the New York area, tri-state area, Harlem, Brooklyn, the BX, wherever you find yourself this weekend, make sure you pull up to Randall's Island to the Curl Fest 2019. Saturday is going to be on Randall's Island. Sunday is going to be in Central Park. All right? I'm saying to pull up because Mama Pill is going to be in the building, and she's going to be debuting a product line that she has available dealing with the growth and the maintenance of natural hair. You know what I'm talking about? So just look out for her. I think I might be in the building that Saturday or that Sunday. I'm not sure what day, but I will be there one of those days. So if you see me, holla at me. It's Rock Nation the Police. You've been listening to some Choke No Joke, I see, huh? Choke got the whole internet buzzing right now with his commentary. I've been following some of Choke No Joke's commentary where he's revealing what he says is he's exposing a lot of behind the scenes stuff in the industry, in particular Rock Nation, in particular Dame Dash, in particular Jay-Z, in particular Biggs. And he's just dropping information that I don't think the family is privy to hearing from an insider's point of view, because those days of insiders blowing the whistle or exposing behind the scenes, those are far and few in between. Those are far and few in between. So he's talking about, he raised a question on one of his videos that recently came out. I'm just putting the people that are watching this video up to date as to what the conversation is that someone in the chat room is having with me, and I'm just answering their their statement about, they asked a question and said, is Rock Nation the police? And Rock Nation is Jay-Z's label. It's the management slash record label slash entertainment label that is one of the biggest labels in the game right now, with who just currently signed Meek Mill to a label deal the other day, and prior to that, signed up Jazzo, the originators. Remember, Jazzo, um, from Hawaiian Sophie fame. Yeah, he signed him to a management deal at Rock Nation. So Choke is saying that there's a bunch of people on that label who have Fed charges, like big Fed charges, such as the basically the president, I believe. It's a Spanish, a Taino woman. I forgot her name. I believe this OG Juan's wife. And he brought up a case that I forgot about. He reminded me of some shit that I forgot about a few years ago, where she got nabbed with a bunch of birds and whatnot. She got bit with a bunch of birds. And I believe she was responsible for snitching on these Colombian or Mexican kingpins that were twins. If my whole, sometimes I get Frank Lucas mixed up with Nicky Barnes. Y'all gotta excuse me, but I think she was responsible for bringing down the twins, and the twins brought down El Chapo. It's this whole goddamn domino thing that went on. But this is the president of the whole label. This is the twins from Chicago. There you go. They were in because El Chapo and the cartel and all of them were feeding a lot of the quote unquote Mexican mafia on the Chicago side, and yeah, that has something to do with El Chapo going down. So it's like, how do you have a president running a label who got caught with a whole bunch of birds, and she, even if she beat the case, that that's a potential that she's going to be surveilled for life. There's going to be surveillance and scrutiny on not only her, but whatever businesses that she may be associated and affiliated with, thus putting your brand, thus putting your business, thus putting your whole empire at stake. Because you know that's like Agent Smith in the Matrix. You know what I mean? Like, once they get in your Matrix, once they get inside of Zion, it's a wrap. It's like when Agent Smith slid into Zion through Cipher. That's when the feds slip into your business, slip into your, into your personal space. How you make your money, how you spend your money, your taxes, your affiliates, your associates, tapping lines, all kind of stuff. And Choke brought up a whole thing about Jay-Z cut Beanie Siegel off for continuously getting in trouble and catching that shooting case, that assault, when he clapped. I think he had road rage and clapped somebody up and whatnot. So I remember he said, and then he also said that when Beans was beefing with Hove sick the feds on him. Now I don't want to repeat chatty pattiness, because it's almost like I'm, in the patty workshop and whatnot, and I don't want to. I don't like doing that. So this is what I would say about the whole thing that the brother is talking about, and what Choke is saying, because a lot of people are talking about it. Maybe not the people that are watching the show right now, but we belong to this ecosystem, and the way that the algorithms and the way that they have curated the news and news that goes viral, we're all in one big echo chamber. Everybody is watching each other, especially when your shit goes viral. You know what I mean? And that's from a ratio aspect of me just taking just my personal testimony about all of the people who I didn't even know they watch YouTube. Like, I didn't even know they were into YouTube, let alone watching me on YouTube. And they like, yo, bro, I watch that like TV. You know what I mean? Not just you per se, but it's you and a whole bunch of people. So there's a stream going on right now, and some people find new teachers, which they which they deem channels, and then they attach it to their streams of consciousness. And then some people are like, you know, on any given day, they're watching 4 to 5 hours of teachers, and then clips, and then clips, and then other lectures, and then other clips, and Instagram clips, somebody's story, then somebody's live, then you might catch a classic. You know what I'm saying? It's this constant inundation of information that's downloading into your CPU, similar to what they showed in the movie Matrix when he was a receptacle for information that was coming to him at a fast pace when he plugged into a digital network. That's what you saw in the Matrix with Neo when he was sitting down with Morpheus, and Morpheus was plugging him. He was plugging him into a second brain. He was plugging him into the information highway. He was plugging him into the internet or slash Google, or for people who travel real far, the dark web and places like that. And people are becoming more knowledgeable. People are becoming more informal. People are downloading programs upon programs upon programs upon programs. You want to learn how to cook? Put that shit in Google, and it'll come to you. The same way in the Matrix, where he just said what he wanted to do, and then it just popped up, right? So we may even be heading to a future, a very near future, that is, where you can just really think about something and it's going to appear, it's going to come forward. You're going to be able to manifest it. You know, you'll be able to manifest it in this holographic virtual or this holographic reality, especially if you're plugged in to a virtual interface. Because man like Elon Musk, okay, man like Elon Musk, we're gonna talk about this in the Deep Mind. That's the Deep Mind is part of the Into Deep Part Two lecture. Deep Mind is what is known as artificial intelligence, deep learning, machine learning, and what they call uh, what is that called? It's escaping me right now. But the deep mind is the programmed, it's the neural network that programmers have created, and it's a self-teaching because it's learning through machine learning. So it's becoming conscious and it's becoming smarter, wiser, more mathematical, more familiar with the algorithms of the internet and the web and whatnot. And it's beginning to make decisions on its own. It's beginning to adjudicate situations. Oh man, it's doing a lot. You know what I'm saying? That's why y'all need to make sure y'all tap into that Into Deep lecture. You know what I'm saying? Because we really went in on that. You know what I mean? Like we really dropped a lot of information. We dropped so much information. Look what has happened since the days that we dropped that lecture, what was last Sunday. I did the lecture last Sunday, and in the lecture on last Sunday, I showed for anybody that's in the building right now, you could just give me a co-signature with a thumbs with a muscle arm emoji. I produced a chart during the Into Deep Part 2 lecture that was a price chart of human body parts, right? We talked about adrenochrome, we talked about ether, you know what I'm saying? We talked about the organ harvesting, we talked about the sex trafficking industry, we talked about the human trafficking industry, and then I showed a chart that was showing the price points to the human body according to the numbers as it stands at that moment. right? I was using up-to-date information. And when it was all broken down, when it was all added up, you know, anyone who has uh, a calculator or a mathematical mind can see that the total exceeds selling what is known as a few birds. One human body is worth a lot on the chop shop market, on the body part market, on the organ harvesting market. And then immediately after that, a news story report broke that exposed a body part shop in Phoenix, Arizona. It was already exposed before, but just right after In Too Deep Part 2 lecture on Sunday, on Wednesday, I believe, a story went viral. It went national. Even Tariq Nasheed retweeted it. And it was about the FBI releasing a report about a body parts chop shop. Go and Google it. Okay? Go and Google it, and you can see what it is that I'm talking about. They uncovered a chop shop where body parts was just laying around, but body parts were being sold for high tickets. They were selling scalps and eyes and whatnot, rib cages and arms for a grip. They had buckets with heads in it, and they were doing some. They said they were doing some other kind of experiments or some, dismemberments where they were sewing little heads on adult bodies. Okay, so we spoke about it, and then we see the story break. Then, along with the story, because like I said, consciousness is the gift that keeps on giving. You know, consciousness is alive. The lectures that we do, um that's why Fear of a Black or More Messiah is like in its 11th installation. That's why Fear of a Black Planet 2 is in about its 7th installation. That's why we continue to do the Melanin Mondays and the Third Eye Thursdays. So, you know, it's a gift that keeps on giving. The information is always going to present itself. It's always going to find you. It's all, things when you speak things and things come true, or things, the great divine speaks through signs. That's one of my sayings. So then the next story that popped up is after we talked about our good friend Jeff Epstein in heavy context during Into Deep Part 2. We went very deep into what he's about. We went very deep into who he's connected with. We went very deep into Lolita Island. We went very deep into the satanic, sacrificial, spirit cooking allegations behind him, Podesta, Clinton, the whole cabal, because he's not separated from even the owner of L Brands, and that is in Columbus, Ohio. And we spoke about L Brands in Columbus, Ohio, and the ties between the Knights of Columbus, and the ties between the Serpent Mound, and the ties between, the Masonic activity in that whole area. You know, come to find out that Epstein and the owner of the L brand, the dude who gave Jeff Epstein that house, the one of the biggest real pieces of real estate, residential in New York City, he gave it to him for zero. So Jeff Epstein was the master. As he was blackmailing everybody, he had all kind of stuff on everyone. He had all kind of tapes, all kind of dirt, all kind of shit. You know what I'm talking about? And he was able to receive real estate off the elbow. He was able to receive favors. He was being placed on boards. He was being placed on payrolls. He was getting set up for life based off of the fact that he was the quote unquote plug, or he was the white zaddy supreme. You know what I'm talking about? He was white zaddy in a supreme head to toe. He was White Zaddy Supreme, my nigga. And you know, he brought the top ones out. He had the airplanes. You know what I mean? You know how some niggas got the Sprinter. You know what I'm talking about? Or they got a few whips. Well, he had jumbo jets, so he had access to fly in and out of the country. He was crossing the world with women of younger and older ages. It's just not a child prostitution thing. This shit is a whole, it's a bonus package. It comes in tiers and whatnot. So, you know, he had the Russian women with him. He had a Slovakian, which is, we talked about the connotations between slaves and and these Slavs and whatnot, and how this is something that is in their nature. This is something that they've been doing for a very, very long time. When you go back into the sultans of the Iberian Peninsula, when you go back into the selling of European women at a wholesale scale, it's these same tribes of Europeans that were selling humans through time immemorial. They're still selling humans. The Africans who were selling humans back in the days are still selling them. The Arabs in the UAE that were selling humans are still selling them. The Libyans that were selling humans are still selling them. The Europeans, the Eastern and the Western Europeans who were selling humans are still selling them. The British are still selling humans. The Spaniards and the Portuguese are still selling humans. They're selling humans. They're selling human body parts. They're selling humans for sex. They're selling humans for labor. Nigga, and they got people locked up. America is still slaving people through the 13th Amendment. Louisiana has the largest slave population in the world. Not in New York City. I mean, not in the East Coast, not in the South, not on the West Coast, not on one perimeter of the USA. In the world, my genius. That's a fact that you could go and Google. They have locked up more people in Louisiana than they have anywhere around the world. So they're telling us that there's something so, so uncontrollable, so sinister, and so criminal about the brothers and sisters from the boot, you know, the descendants of Poverty Point, that they have to lock these people up in wholesale, you know, and in the same state, which still happens to rank number one, two, and three for hate groups, for white supremacists, and for I believe these are also some of the highest rates of white criminal activity as well. White criminal activity, which never gets talked about, which gets glossed over. Joshua Jones said, I'm in Louisiana. What you talking about, Holmes? Louisiana, the state that you live in, right? The home of the Washita Indians. The state that you live in, the home of Poverty Point. A very ancient place, mind you. A place where people who look like me and you are the original inhabitants and the indigenous ancestors of that land, of mound building civilization and all kind of stuff. That same state is the headquarters. That is the headquarters. Okay? That is the headquarters. That is ground zero. That is the base of white supremacy, along with places like Dallas, Texas, and other places. And that is the state that has the highest percentage or numbers of inmates, of people who are locked up, who are in jail, okay? Who are prisoners, who are legal slaves, who are 13th Amendment citizen prisoners. That state holds the highest numbers of any state in the 50 plus states in America. Okay? That whole strip, Dallas, Fort Worth, all of that Texas strip, that Louisiana strip, that you're seeing a hotbed of white supremacists. You know what I mean? all of that hotbed. They've never they marched and they they settled in those areas. They came there as that. They woke up like that. They murdered and they killed and they pillaged and they removed people off of those lands to even inhabit those lands. I'm not making that up. You know, I'm not making that up. So I wouldn't hold anyone to a higher standard than what it is that they've shown me through their actions, and what they've shown and what I've seen through their actions, and what I could uncover through my research is that these are murderous, uh, demonic, thieving, lying, stealing, dishonest, uh, forked tongue devils. That's the best way to describe it. Outside of the good barbecue that they make, outside of their warm nature when y'all on the farm talking about raising the cows and whatnot, outside of all of that shit, I'm talking about, we dealing with some people who don't give a damn about anything but them. We're dealing with some people who are heinous in their approach to what it is that they have an inferior complex about. So what it is that they have this have not disposition towards. I'm talking about, these are savages. These people have no morals. They have no breaks. They have nothing that will stop them to the lengths that they will go to possess, to conquer, and to dispossess you of anything that you have. They can lead to your upliftment, to your salvation, nigga, to your glow up. I'm talking about, true, really, vampires. That's the best way to describe these tribes of people. And these vampires have affected tribes of us who look like us, and they too are vampires, and they work in unison and in tandem with these people. Please be clear and always understand that, and never get it fucked up. Like, never forget that part. You understand? Never forget that part. I would even go as far as to go on the record to say that maybe some of the people who taught them some of their most wickedest ways look like us. You know what I mean? It's always one of us with them somewhere. Shit. They're getting a lot of information. They're getting a lot of batteries. They're getting a lot of secret, like they had the nuclear secrets. They're getting a lot of nuclear secrets from, niggas who jumped ship, who went on the other side, who's running against the race. I hope you do know this. I hope you do know this. You know. So, article comes out. Jeff Epstein gets found in his room, unconscious and balled up in a fetal position in the Manhattan Detention Center. He was a few cells down from El Chapo, who just got life in the feds, right? And then they shipped him off to the Supermax. So Jeff Epstein got ran down on in his cell, like little turtle in him, and he got folded up, or he basically got, reminded that it could go down, my nigga. Like, you could die today. Because I don't think he's trying to commit suicide. That's furthest from what's happening. They're putting fear in his heart. And then to show how the ancestors are always conspiring for the success of the truth to come out, we talked extensively in Into Deep Part 2 about the Clinton body count. We talked extensively about how low the Clintons can go and how low they've gone and how they are, and this is not me making it up, once again, this is my disclaimer for, this is my journalistic, I have to bring forth journalistic proof of any of the statements that I make only because I could not, I can't assume that everybody that's viewing this knows my teaching style or takes me serious or takes what I say as fact. So you go and Google it. You know what I'm saying? Don't take my word for it. All right. The Clinton body count started trending on Twitter today. The hashtag Clinton body count is a topic that's trending on Twitter. And then when you go on it, it's some hilarious posts, but it's also information for American public who may have never been exposed to this. Nobody was talking about the Clinton body count in the public. Yeah, they were. They kind of were. Let me stop that. They were saying it in the public. This is no new information, but it's now back in the public. It's now back in the eyes of the people. They're more susceptible to understanding what that means and the extent of it being true, because they just found out that this nigga was flying to Lolita Island about 100 times on the goddamn Lolita Express with Jeff Epstein, Kevin Spacey, Prince Andrew, and a bunch of dots. You know what I'm saying? So the plot thickens because the American public is eating this shit up. It's a storybook story. It's the biggest Hollywood story, being written in the writers' workshop right now. You know, the fall of some very powerful people, the fall and the exposing and the unraveling of some very powerful people that's taking place, you know, in real time. Okay. For those of us that use these as teacher moments, the hashtag them first people, that's not me per se, but I see the opportunity for the first them or the them first people to reignite their crusades. Like, do we, I'm lending you some horses right now. I'm giving you some horsepower. Start your crusade. You know what I mean? There's nothing that you could do for R. Kelly. It's over for that dude. Okay? He's in motherfucking he's underwater with SpongeBob in them. His ship has sunk. You can't save him. But bang on the Epsteins of the world, tie it in. Show how to go and bang on the Roger Ailes of the world. Show how Fox 5 and rape culture and Trump and Clinton and all of them are related. There's no reaching across the aisle. It's not a bipartisan thing. These people engage in orgies together. Okay? You know what I'm talking about? Their orgasms are not segregated. They're not saying, "Oh nah, I'm not gonna go to the whorehouse with the Democrats." You know what I'm saying? We're not gonna bust it wide open at Scores with these other guys with the squad in them. No, the squad and everybody's going together. John Lewis, nigga, Trump's wife, they all pulling up. Okay, there seems to be a diet, there seems to be an appetite in these places where people are used to eating up innocent people all day. That's in government, that's the judicial branches. That's why these judges have all of these conspiracies and these scandals about fucking little boys. Because inside of their courtrooms and inside of their places of dominion and inside of their places of domination, they're crushing little boys all day. They're fucking little excuse my Moorish Latin, but that's what they're doing all day to these families and to these young innocent, these Meek Mills of the world. Okay, everybody's not as lucky as Meek Mill to wiggle their way out of a conviction, and his conviction can lead to an affliction, and those afflictions lead to addictions. Do you understand what I'm saying? The conviction aspect of being convicted of a crime that you are not guilty of, or being over convicted, or being convicted and being over sentenced for something that is a first time offense, something that you did out of ignorance, something that you did out of desperation, something that you did as a crime of poverty and whatnot, and then being punished for it on a extra, you know what I mean? Getting an extra punishment for it, meaning that you're getting 5 and 6 and 7 years for shit like a pistol. You know what I mean? You're getting 7 years for regular stuff. So that conviction can lead to an affliction. You're behind the wall. You're in solitary confinement. Your freedom has been taken away from you. You are basically, a pause has been put on your development in the real world and whatnot, in your family's life, in your children's life, and all of these aspects, and your talent, your pursuit of talent and whatnot. So you get your life put on pause. That causes an affliction. An affliction can cause an addiction. So as a result of these afflictions, as a result of men and women living through unbearable pain, broken hearts, when your dreams are deferred, nigga, that's painful. You understand? You gotta wake up in your nightmare. You might have lost a loved one or something. Yeah, that's painful. And people have decided that there's a way out of that. People have decided that there's an option that they could tap out of their pain by what? Pharmacopoeia, by coping through the pharmacy, either on them pills, either through the bottle, the liquor bottle, or that little orange bottle with the pills in it, or they go to the needle, or they just roll up, you know, or they just roll up. And apparently, and unfortunately, when you look around our neighborhoods and the places where we domicile and the places where we are, you know, congregating in large numbers, it's appearing to me that the decisions that people who look like us have made to escape this world has not necessarily fared or worked in their favor. Like that fucking plan that you had to tap out to avoid your problems, it only caused more problems. Look at our hoods. Look at our neighborhoods. Look at our cities, bro. Look at our states. Look at the state of the black man and woman in America in 2019. Nigga, look at it. And I'm not talking about you niggas in your hot girl summers. Look at the state of the hood, of the ghetto, of the gentrified areas where you can't afford to pay the bills. And it's still Operation Kill. Just look at it. Look at these places that are frozen in time. You didn't even know that you was in the future. Niggas come to Times Square and fall out because where they live at looks like the 1970s because it's frozen in a time sequence whenever that spell was casted. The shit is frozen. You know? The energy is just frozen. The development of these areas are just frozen. So how do you anticipate the minds of the children and the young ones and the ones that are coming up, unless they are real imaginative, if they have real good imaginations, but they're going to, you know, you're going to lose them. You know, and that's what we've been doing. We've been losing people either in the fantasy world or they want to go, you know, they'll move away and never come back. They don't put any value. They don't put any kind of, you know, they don't bring it back to the hood. So it's a lot of things that really need to be addressed because we have to figure out new ways to cope. We have to figure out new ways to deal with the reality that we find ourselves in if we're not comfortable with this reality. And that's not necessarily going to be to dope yourself to death. That shit don't work. That ain't it. You know what I'm talking about? That is not it. You know, that is not it. So, and of course, you know, the message is for those who it's meant for. This is not for the masses. It's never been for the masses. The masses are not on the same time. The masses are not on this frequency. The masses are not in the same classes with the masters, and that's not being arrogant or being an elitist. That's just saying that you have to be honest about where you're at. This is intellectual warfare. This is an intellectual conversation that we're having. So therefore, if you can understand that, you can understand that if you made it into Ivy League school, nigga, there's conversations that you're not gonna have with niggas that you knew from public school about shit that you're learning in Ivy League because it's above the they can't even understand it at this point. They're not in the same class. So see yourself inside of higher consciousness. See yourself inside of, well, not modern day consciousness. And I'm not saying that to take away from anything. I'm saying that as a point of reference. That modern day consciousness, YouTube consciousness, and Instagram consciousness compared to the consciousness that was available 10 years ago, and then consciousness that was available 20 years ago, it's a reference point. It's a way to see the devolution or the downgrading or the dumbing down of the level of information that was being disseminated, because 10 years ago the information was at a higher frequency, a higher level. You can go back 10 years and use all of that information in your 1 minute clips, in your, what I mean, in this quote unquote watered down, diluted version of consciousness. This is mixed with coke. This shit is mixed with Benin, and wokeness is the quinine. You know what I mean? What's it called? The Benina. I don't cook no dope. I don't cook heroin, but what is it? It's mixed with some shit that what we dealing with right now is stepped on. It's definitely stepped on. You know, it's definitely stepped on. This is not. This ain't no 9.0. This ain't no condensed consciousness. And I'm talking about collectively. You know what I mean? I'm talking about collectively. And I'm talking about, and I'm also talking information wise. You know what I mean? Going back to what I was saying about intellectual warfare. Intellectual warfare don't care if you got a house. Intellectual warfare don't care if you got a car. I'm talking about intellectual warfare on hyper dimensions. I'm talking about weaponizing thought as a motherfucking weapon of mass destruction. I'm talking about weaponizing information as a weapon of mass destruction. Not the people these days are using things to get houses and these people. I'm not talking about that. That's where you get it. That's what I'm saying. There's been a convergence, and the convergence of commercial consciousness. The shit like what Charlemagne and them be doing. I'm talking about, where Joe Button is deep these days. No offense to any of them. I'm just saying they have. They have. I was at Revolt Summit the other day. They've commercialized consciousness through the lens of the woke thing. You know what I mean? And it's cute. You know what I'm saying? But it is a version of something that existed at a completely higher frequency, more potent, more informative level. That's all I'm saying. And I'm saying that we're going kind of backwards, because if the community would have stayed the course, this shit would have been, we would have been building out, we would have had quantum computers at this point. We would have been working on time travel. That's a super fact. Like, we would have been experimenting with time travel, genome through the gene editing. We would have been splicing and creating things. We would have been we could have been we would have written algorithms. We would have been competing with certain factions of Silicon Valley and Alley with our technology. Like, that's the what if world, man. Maybe there's somebody out there that could create a what if, an alternative universe of how this shit would have been if we stayed the course. you know so truth be told, we're trying to get back to where we were when remember, this is going like that. So we're going back in that cycle to where we were. when a lot of us are, could remember back to, you know. And that's where the future is heading. The future is heading into quantum. The future, we was talking about Bitcoin in 2013 and 14, explaining to the family that the future is heading into crypto. Now there's people who are getting rich off of crypto, and they understand crypto. And there's all kind of brands and platforms and all kind of freedom that's attached to not just knowing what crypto is, but applying it. We were in Inglewood, California. We had a pop-up shop, all right, in April at a crypto, a black owned, a female, well, there's really two sisters and one of the sisters' husband, and they opened up a cryptocurrency shop, and it's fire. I'm talking about it's cutting edge, and I think it's called Crypto Block Plug. I gotta remember the name. And you know, people are actually living a good life. We talked to the family about hemp in 2014. There's people right now living good off of hemp. We talked to the people about illegal marijuana in 2014. There's people right now booming, living good off of legal marijuana. We talked about a lot of things. We talked about a lot of things. So it's only right that we continue to talk about these things, because in the next 4 to 5 years, there's going to be other booms that are taking place. We're just trying to prepare you for those booms as right now, in the presence. So you could be forging, you could be building, even if you got a little one that's growing up, you could be getting them, attached to some stuff. So by the time they master it in 2 or 3 years, by the time they hit the fifth year, they could basically cash out in the millions or possibly the billions. The name of the place was, it was Crypto something plug, Crypto Block Plug, I think. Crypto Block Plug. Yeah, so to see the Clinton body count trending, that was interesting. You know, that's I don't those stories are not gonna remain buried. Those stories are not gonna remain buried, as they should not. What I mean, y'all gonna learn about who Hillary Clinton really is, and thank God that she and then when you learn out who she is, then it will ease your sadness of her not being a president. You dig? Bill Clinton, the one who put a lot of people behind bars with that crime bill. You know, he has his day in the sun. You know what I'm saying? His day is coming up very soon. So, yep, yep, yep. Yeah, I think what they did to Gaddafi, right? What they did to Gaddafi, there's going to be repercussions for that. I'm not saying that he's paying for that per se, but they did Muammar Gaddafi super dirty with the Benghazi thing, and that was Hillary's. That was a lot of her blood work. That was her warmongering, and they murdered an innocent man in front of the eyes of the world, and they stripped the whole nation of a governmental system that actually worked, and then they pillaged it and basically robbed them blind in front of the eyes of the world, with no provocative, no, they weren't provoked. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't provoked. So yeah, she got paid for that. You know, she got paid for that. You know, they going through it in Libya right now, and they were kind of staying the course prior to that. So shame on her. Astaghfirullah. Yeah, but shout out to everybody that has ordered In Too Deep Part 2 lecture. We will be mailing them out this weekend. We still have editing that needs to be finished on it. Um, but check us out, okay? Check us out. If you want to get a copy of that, if you want to see that lecture, send $20 plus your email to the Cash App, PHILMORELAND. That's my Cash App, PHILMORELAND. Send it there, and then we'll send it to you. Okay, we got you, and we'll keep you updated as to what the next lecture is coming up. The next thing that we have live stream, the next presentation, um, the next lesson. All right, because these are some powerful lessons, and I love the teaching format that Zoom is allowing me to do, where I can share the screen and share the actual lecture, and I don't have a time limit. I don't have to worry about the lights. You know, people got to pack up. You know, the people got to go home. Red pill. We gotta wrap it up. Yeah, I don't got to worry about that. You know, and that creates a whole nother um, wave. You know what I mean? It creates a whole nother level of being able to teach and teach comfortably and teach a complete lesson. So yeah, the Cambada live stream is tomorrow too. Make sure y'all check into Black Magic 363. I might go live from my page as well. Let everybody that's there who has a platform and a channel go live. But yeah, the album is retarded. I was in the studio to about 7 a.m. That's why I'm kind of tired right now. I had a long day. Um, yeah, the Holy Ghost Part 2 by Brother Rich and Cambada is going to change the game in a few ways. You know what I mean? Change is good. Change is needed. You know, change was promised to us by Obama. So we gonna, you know, they bringing change to the game. The whole aspect of the USB album, um, and just raising the bar, bringing lyrics back, bringing bars. I mean, talking about bar. What's his name? Barbosa. You know what I'm talking about? Barcelona. You know what I mean? Hanna Barbera type shit. Like, you know, bars for days, my nigga. You know, bars Blackwood. You know what I mean? Like, son is going in. Son is definitely going in. He's tapped in. You know, me and Blue got a fire verse. We tapped in. I'm just happy to be a part of history, you know? So yeah, look out for that tomorrow. That's gonna be the live stream for the album. Vic Mensa with a dress on and makeup, opposite of Shaka Zulu. You know what I think about it? Vic Mensa put a dress on with lipstick, and that nigga looked like he was in a Mac store. He looked like he enjoyed it. He wore a fucking dress. And then on the flip side of that, we got Shaka Zulu, where everybody, we put makeup on. You know what I'm talking about? We put makeup on. We didn't put no dress on, but we put face paint on, war paint. It's a difference. We put war paint, right? We ain't put makeup on, nigga. We put war paint. This nigga's putting makeup on. And Tyler the Creator is freestyling about getting his moist buns touched on Funkmaster Flex. So Vic Mensa, the same person who said he was gonna beat up on whatchamacallit, DJ Academics, because he's from Chicago and he's representing for the drill music and the drillers and the shotters in Chicago, and he didn't appreciate the disrespect that Act gave towards somebody, right? So this same dude who was talking greasy to Joe Button, I think, I don't know who it was, but I gotta remember this young man, right? Yeah, Rock Nation artist, right? Go figure, Rock Nation artist. This young man puts on a Confederate flag dress, high heels, full makeup. I'm talking about full makeup, lipstick, the eyes and shit. He had the eyeshadow, my nigga. This nigga had he drew the eyebrows in, full lipstick, full wig on, like a straight, like the shit that they talking about with Epstein and Weinstein and all of these Hollywood pedophiles and these sexual deviants. You understand? They're the ones that when you put that dress on and they walk you into a room, my nigga, they're in that room. Some of them are in that room. You know? Some of them are in that room. The Weinsteins, the Beast is what they call them, right? Jeff Epstein, you know, he's like Face from 18. You know what I'm talking about? You know, he's like the Kaiser Sose. You know that he's the big homie. You know? So on the flip side of that, you got a video like Shaka Zulu where, you know, you got some men showing, you know what I mean, warriorhood, you know what I mean, also showing their lyrical dexterity, bars and whatnot. And, you know, we just see where we at in the music. So you could get with this or you should get with that, you know? Yeah, Flex should have definitely stopped the music. Fuck is wrong with that nigga? He had the beat still going on while Tyler the Creator was talking about getting his butt tapped. You know what I'm saying? Tyler the Creator was trolling. I don't know if he was trolling or he was on some real gay shit, but this nigga did a freestyle talking about having butt sex. And I'm not gonna play it. I'm not gonna play it on because I don't want no copyright infringement. But I'm not playing no freestyle of no young black man talking about having butt sex on Funk Master Flex. Like, this must be, I gotta go check out the retrograde. Cause this might be a retrograde in Uranus. Because niggas is acting real gay this retrograde, bro. It's bringing out the broken wrist in a lot of these niggas, be. You know what I'm saying? It's bringing out the broken wrist in a lot of these niggas. You know? But maybe it's an exposure type of thing. Maybe this retrograde is about an exposure, about a lifting of a veil, and you're seeing exposure take place where people may just be telling on themselves. You know? Cause the dude, Vic Mensa, no offense to him, he's it doesn't, you don't get more clearer than that. You know what I mean? You know, he might as well have his Sweet 16 party and just come on out. Because I mean, come on, fam. He was too comfortable in them high heels. Like, he was too comfortable with that wig on. That he didn't look like he was playing no games. And then the Tyler shit, you know what I mean? That ties into the whole what's the Jaden Smith and you know that whole little Hollywood Hills, you know, where shit gets real. The lines get blurred, real blurry. Yeah. Yeah, Tyler knows how to go viral because that freestyle is going viral. You know what I'm saying? That freestyle is going viral. That Vic Mensa video is going to go viral. And Shaka Zulu might not go as viral as it needs to go. Yeah, and this, my friends, is the music industry in 2019 in a nutshell. That's what it is, and that's how it works. Controversy sells. Trolling on that gay shit sells. Code switching sells. Racism in the race card sells. All of that is hot button. It all sells. It's all viral. It's a wicked algorithm. You know what I'm talking about? And if you tap into that, whoop, you out of here. So people know that. People know that. Oh yeah, pause on the nutshell. People know this, and that's where the trolls are coming from. And a definition or a translation to a troll is a nigga who's going to do some gay shit, and he doesn't care what nobody thinks. because he's doing it for a purpose of monetary reward or for fame. And he'll go on the ledge and he'll go that extra length even if he's not of that sexual persuasion in order to create controversy, because controversy is going to translate to sales, and sales are going to translate to clout, my nigga. So these niggas are clout chasing. Okay, it's clout chasing at its finest. You know, it's not, yeah, young jock in a dress, young jock with a perm, young thug in a dress, young thug in some tights. You know what I mean? So, welcome to troll culture. Well, welcome to troll culture. This is what they do. All right? This is a whole culture. And niggas, they've monetized it. They've commodified troll culture. They've monetized shock value. You feel me? They've monetized shock value. Right? So, I'm sure that there's other lecturers like um Ra Aku. He could give you the Cosmo breakdown of everything that's going on and show you how it's in perfect alignment. But, you know, I'm going to give you this part. Yeah, 50 Cent kissing on the game. Young Buck having sex with trannies. I mean, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's all the way out. It's out there, y'all. It's out there. But look, we about to tap out. You know what I'm saying? I hate to leave so soon, but once again, I'm have a lot to do, a lot of work, a lot of things are going. You know, I got to prepare for a lot of things. So I'm going to be exiting stage left. We'll catch back up on Melanin Monday. All right, we'll be on Melanin Monday, and yeah, we'll get into it. Melanin Monday 70 coming up, and we'll touch on all of the things that went down this weekend. You know what I'm talking about? And we'll touch on some more new things, and we'll touch on some upcoming events that are going to be rolling out in August. When August comes in, we'll talk about what we're doing in August. All right? So, with that being said, peace, love, and light. Love, peace, and hair grease. Y'all be good. All right? One.